It was around 10 p.m., and me, the undisciplined, the lazy fuck that I was back then, had just turned off my tablet, and I was about to change to my pajamas and go to sleep. And as I was falling asleep, I had this anxious feeling because of all of the analog horror that I have just watched on YouTube. I was so scared that I just couldn't even fall asleep. And yet, when I did wake up, I would hear the exact same sound. Come on, froggies, jump out of the bed. It's time for school. That's exactly how our dad used to wake us up for school every single day. And it was annoying as fuck to hear that. But not because I hated him, it was because he reminded me of how undisciplined I was. Here he was, still at the age of 47, waking us up every single day, after he had worked as a slave to give us this comfortable life. And I was just laying there like the lazy piece of shit that I was. And so I got enough of this. And eventually in summer of 2023, as I got back onto self-improvement, my life changed forever. I finally wanted to repay the kindness that my father has been giving me for all of my life. And so I wanted to become successful in all areas of a man's life, whether it was purpose, whether it was health, wealth, and relationships. I wanted to get total mastery and the long-term rewards from mastering those desires. I wanted to become wealthier, healthier, and become better at talking to people. I wanted to improve my social intelligence. And yet, here I was, sitting in class every single day, barely even being present half of the time, because of how much I was sleepy. At some point, it got so bad that my classmates used to tell me that I was basically sleeping, just because whenever we were in a class, I couldn't focus, so I would just randomly stare at a wall or something like that, and I would just think about my inner world and about all the different amalgamations of different ideas that my mind has came up with. And so, as I got more and more advanced in my self-improvement journey, there was one thing that I lacked that I eventually implemented, and it changed my view on productiveness as a whole and on being focused and hardworking. The main thing that I was lacking, the main thing that I didn't have in check, was my sleeping schedule and my morning routines. And so one day, I stumbled upon a video from a well-known YouTuber called Hamza, and he said that if you want to have successful years, you have to have successful months. If you want to have successful months, you have to have successful weeks, and if you want to have successful weeks, you have to have successful days, and if you want to have successful days, you have to have successful mornings. And that was the thing that I've been lacking for all of my life. I was wondering why my grades were so shitty all the time. I was wondering why I just couldn't focus, no matter how hard I tried. I was wondering why I was so undisciplined, why I never wanted to do my homework in the first place. And I would still get it done, don't get me wrong, but I would have so much resistance towards it that it was slowly but surely poisoning my mental health. And let me tell you, bro, as I started to wake up at 5 a.m. and made a powerful morning routine, that's when everything changed for the better. My focus improved tremendously, my discipline went through the roof, and best of all, my mental health finally got fixed. And so in this video, we will go over what you should do during your morning routine when you wake up at 5 a.m., what you should spend your valuable time on, and what to do when you just don't feel disciplined, like, getting out of bed, for example. We've already said that if you want to have great, successful days, then you have to have successful mornings. And the way you actually get a successful morning is that you do the hardest task that is waiting for you, and that it has to be done at some point in the day. Just get the hardest thing out of the way as quickly as possible. I guarantee you, it will improve your mental health tremendously. It will improve your focus because you will have no longer this thought of, oh yeah, I need to record this video, for example. You have to get up and do it right away. Otherwise, the thought of it will plague you forever. And the tentacles of bad energy will constantly hold you back. Because you see, when you wake up at 5 a.m., you have this 2-hour long window where you can do anything and no one will bother you. You can literally use this time to your complete advantage. You can dominate your competition. You can literally get ahead of them. You basically have 2 extra hours that you can be productive in before, school and before everyone wakes up. And then you get distracted because suddenly, they are awake and they are influencing you. Because do you know how hard it is for me to record videos after noon? It is completely difficult. I sometimes have to ask my brother to get out of the room so that I can record for 50 minutes. But if you just record videos at around 5 a.m., that's when everyone is still asleep. And so, granted, you can't really shout at that time, but you can still make a successful video no matter what. The thing is, no one is bothering you, so your brain is completely free to focus on the video that you're recording. It is completely free of any thoughts that is holding him back in order to be completely focused and hardworking and productive in the task that you want to get out of the way as quickly as possible. And that's the main reason why I still wake up at 5 a.m. It just completely makes me more disciplined, more hardworking. And yeah, sure, sometimes I am kind of sleep deprived because I have to go sleep at around 8 p.m. And sometimes I just can't sleep and I fall asleep at like 9 p.m. and so I just lose like extra half an hour of sleep that I could have gotten, and then I'm kind of sleep deprived, but not really. But you get what I'm saying. It improves your discipline tremendously. You just have to wake up at least 5 a.m. if you want to be a successful entrepreneur. And if you want to become a successful man in general, you just have to build the discipline on something. And then, plus, when you get that hardest task done out of the way, the entire day just becomes completely easier. You can do whatever you want without your thoughts holding you back. It is just liberating when you think about it. And yes, I know that your parents may say stuff like, oh, you're going to sleep with the hens. Kaka, kaka. That's what they say to me sometimes. My father is like, oh, going to sleep with the hens again? When I say goodbye to him, when I go to sleep at around 8 p.m. Yeah, but here's the thing. You want to become the best version of yourself, right? You don't want to be like the lame 99% of people, right? You want to be like me, like us in our clan. You want to become the best version of yourself. So why do you still care about the opinions of 99% of people? The same people who play video games until like 2 a.m. And then they wonder why they are so sleep deprived when you say hi to them in the morning. Of course, I'm not comparing my dad to these people. He's still successful and he has the right to indulge in pleasures like video games now, because he has been working for the past 20 years. But when you think about your classmates, for example, if you tell them that you're waking up at 5 a.m., they will think you're some kind of a psychopath, that you're not normal. And that's a good thing, because we are not normal. We are the weird ones. But just think about where we are going to be in 15 years from now. We'll have the 10 out of 10 godly physique. We'll have an unbreakable discipline. We will have businesses that bring us financial, location and time freedom. We will have our dream wives. And plus, we will also have strong brothers by our side who reject the status quo also of, enjoying your teens and your 20s. Man, fuck that propaganda. Do you want to end up like them or like us? If you're kind of intelligent and still watching this video 9 minutes in, then I believe that you will be a pretty good fit in our clan. So you can join it in the description if you want to get a closer contact to me and other people with the same values as you. And just to make sure that you actually take action and just don't watch this video to, compensate for the lack of productiveness in your life, just to cope and escape the demons that are still tempting you, your depression, your anxiety, then type in the comments, reject modernity, because that way I will see that you're actually a disciplined young man who wants to improve himself and doesn't want to be like the 99% of people. And with that, welcome to our clan. Because if you actually take action after watching this video, then you honestly have my respect. And so what should you do except for this hardest task of the day? Well, you see, there are some kind of habits on self-improvement that you just cannot do while everyone is awake. And these habits are exercising. Like, yeah, you can still go to the gym, but it's way more fun when everyone is still awake and you are in this, zone, like, you're still grinding while everyone is asleep. You're gonna get ahead of 99% of people. Like, I know that we're not doing self-improvement to, compare ourselves with the 99% of people. We do it to compare ourselves with the 1% of people. But it's just a nice boost when you think about it to your dark side, so that you continue to work hard on yourself. The next good habit is meditation. It is very hard to meditate, afternoon especially. I wouldn't recommend it after you come back from school or something like that. Because by that time, everyone will be already awake and the TV will be on, your brother will play video games with his friends, your mom will constantly want something for you to do, like take out the trash, vacuum the floor. You get what I'm saying. But if you just take 8 minutes out of your morning routine to improve your focus through meditation, that will stack like there's no tomorrow. Trust me, the compound effect, especially after a few months, will reward you tremendously. The next powerful good habit is gratitude journaling. Gratitude journaling basically puts positive thoughts into your head. Basically, you just open up a notepad or Notion, for example. I use Notion, and you write, I am grateful for X because of Y. You manually think about something that makes your life easier and something that you truly appreciate. And then after a while, after like few months, you will just naturally get positive thoughts into your head and you will stop to think so negatively all the time and you will just become a happier person in general. Like, you'll be literally sitting in a room with no one around and it will be boring as fuck, and yet you'll still be smiling. But not in a psychopath way, but because you actually enjoy your existence. You're actually happy because of all the progress that you've made. You've got big muscles, your mental health is finally fixed, you have a business that you're working on, you have a purpose that you're working on every single day to master it. And yeah, granted, you could do this good habit even afternoon and basically any time that you want. But when you're just sitting there on your couch at around 5:20 a.m. and everyone is still asleep and there's no sounds, it's basically just quiet and it's just you and your mobile phone with Notion opened, and all you can do is just think about positive things, and that will tremendously improve your morning and improve your mood for the rest of the day, and that will have a tremendously good effect on your mental health. So I recommend you to start gratitude journaling every single day when you wake up. And also, if you already know what your purpose in life is, or you have some kind of other project that you're working on, or if you just want to advance in your self-improvement journey, then this is a perfect time when you can read books, watch long-form educational videos, and just do your projects with no one around. No one will disturb you at this time, so you can dedicate the maximum output of your focus on these particular activities. Because you know what they say, your mind is the sharpest 1 hour after you wake up. And the last thing, if you don't really feel like getting out of bed and you just feel tired, you're covered with your warm blanket so you don't feel like getting up, the sun isn't shining because it's like December or something like that, and you just want to lay there and dream for the next 2 extra hours because you don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. I know for the first 7 nights that you will have this, it will be really difficult for you to wake up at 5 a.m. because of the lack of discipline that you have. And so for the meantime, before you actually experience the positive effect that the morning routine has on you and your mental health, you have to take baby steps. Basically say that you don't want to get out of bed. Well, Can you take off your blanket that is slightly warming you up and that is giving you a sense of comfort? Of course you can, so do it. Can you take one foot off of your bed and put it on the ground? Yes. And can you do it with your other foot? Of course you can. Can you stand up to turn off the light that you have switched on? Of course you can. And so you slowly do this until the morning routine is finished. Okay? So remember, good mornings create good days. You must start meditating, gratitude journaling, exercising when you wake up, because that is the most optimal time of the day where you can do them. And also, just to be a little bit more productive, you can also dedicate this time to reading, to watching long-form educational videos, and to do not only the hardest part of the day, the hardest task that you have coming up, but also some other shallow work that needs to be done at some point, like homework, some small business work, for example, let's say. And if you don't feel disciplined enough, like there will come days, even after you become disciplined, where you just don't feel like waking up. Always divide the big task into several smaller tasks and ask yourself, can you do them? Of course you can. So stay disciplined. Okay? Join our clan in the description. I'm sure you'll find your place in there. I hope you found some value in this video. You can comment on which part of the video you liked the most. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video, and remember, no one is better at being you.